Hey there, welcome to 4 Minute Friday with me, Brian Conway from achievesuccess.co.uk, and this is 4 Minute Friday where we take 4 minutes of your time to share with you a tip, a trick or a strategy that will help you close more sales and ultimately make more money. Now this week I want to talk about getting access to the C-suite. I want to talk about how you can get access to those C-level executives, the people right at the top of the organization, the company directors or board members or whatever their kind of roles they hold, but the top of the organization, because those individuals can really help influence sales opportunities in your favor. They can really help develop a much better business relationship if you can get access to them. And ultimately, you can start to develop that status of trusted advisor that we often talk about in selling as being often the utopia of sales activity. And therefore, you become their go-to person for advice on the acquisition of products and services that you provide. So there's a lot of benefits of getting that C-level access. And the easiest way I have found to do that is to use one of my core principles that I learned many years ago and that I've lived by in my sales career, and that is you will always be referred to the person you most sound like. Okay? You will always be referred to the person you most sound like. So how you use that is if you have a buyer that you deal with at the operational sort of management level perhaps of an organization, and you're looking to get higher in that company, then you want to start having an executive conversation with your current contact. So start talking about things that would be important to a C-level executive. Things like market share, shareholder value, competitive threat, differentiation, innovation. Things like legislation or the economic climate or social pressures that are acting upon the organization or the environment or things that are more strategic to the business rather than operational. And what will happen is when you start to have that conversation is the person that you're conversing with currently will kind of struggle to be able to answer the questions that you're asking. So what they will do is quite often then refer you to the person you most sound like, which is the C-level executive. So they will refer you up the organization. And that, as I have found, has been the least threatening way of getting higher in an organization, because you don't want to be seen to be going around somebody. People quite often don't like that. You want to be going through them. You want to be getting their blessing and their introduction, which makes it easier to get a C-level contact as well. But they can introduce you up. And although we don't want to embarrass them and we're not trying to show them up by being kind of clever in the language that we're using necessarily, but what often happens is that people do kind of feel a little bit embarrassed. You might even hear the expression, I've no idea about that, that's way above my pay grade. Okay, good, because that's where we want to go to. But even though we don't want to embarrass them, sometimes people do kind of feel a little embarrassed and therefore are quite keen to actually refer you to the most appropriate person who can answer those questions for you. Now remember, the objective here, because we're selling business to business, is to sell business outcomes. So we're talking about the business, and therefore that's, it's a natural conversation. There's no tricks in here. We want to talk about the business, what the business is trying to achieve, so we can put together the most appropriate business solution for the individual that we're talking to. So it's in their favor, it's in their, for a benefit of them that we have the bigger picture anyway. So all we're doing is talking to them at a C-level conversation, so they will refer us up. Now this will also help you get wider in your customer contacts as well. So if you want to get outside of the sort of traditional buying organization and speak to other lines of business, other business units, so you can get the big picture and really understand what the business is trying to achieve, then again, having conversations that are outside of, I'll give you an example, I've always sold a lot of IT, a lot of my clients sell a lot of IT. So if I wanted to get out of the IT organization and go to speak to somebody in sales, about how their sales force use IT, then I can start talking about sales strategies, customer churn, customer attrition, closing rates, all that sort of stuff. Things, territory management, all the things that are appropriate to a salesperson to get referred out to that salesperson, because I will always be referred to the person I most sound like. So that's the tip of the week. You will always be referred to the person you most sound like. So if you want to extend your contact strategy higher or wider, then start thinking about the language that's appropriate to the people you want to talk to, not the person you are talking to. So this has been 4 Minute Friday. Please apply, as always. I ask you to apply what you learn, because that's where the magic really is. That's where you'll see the value. And until then, it's just information and knowledge, okay? So I hope you have a great weekend and a great week ahead of your selling. I'm Brian Conway. You take care. Bye for now.